Okay, so today I'm just making an YouTube video real quick on all my fish. I'm doing a fish tour right now, and my ADHD is gonna distract me for sure. But y'all can see okay. So hold on, let me just put this here. Okay, now y'all should be able to see. I got two pacu right here, two red bellies. Yeah, two red belly pacu right here, right here. Right here I got a tiger shovel nose. All these fish are around 10 inches, maybe a little bigger, maybe a little smaller. Yeah, peacock bass is probably the smallest guy I have in there. Peacock's right there. So he's an Oscillarius peacock bass. I don't know if he was wild caught, but he's got a little bit of blue on him, and orange and green, and he's really dark in this tank. He had more colors than my 125. This is a 310 gallon. They're all in right now. And yes, I'm getting a bigger tank. I'm working on that. I know it's not overstock. It's not like those ones you see on Instagram where there's like 50 Oscars and a 75, but I mean, it's still pretty stocked. I'm probably going to sell my Placo that I have, my foot-long Placo, and then they want food, that's why they're all right here next to me. Or some of them are. Arowana always hungry. Yeah, he wants food. Look. But anyway, I have a clown knifefish right here. You know, he's pretty cool. I just got him yesterday. I got a clown knifefish. He's a little beat up because he was in a tank with way bigger clown knifefish and a bunch of other just massive fish like pacu, like a pacu almost as big as that one. And these are red bellies, so they won't get quite as big as the normal pacu, the black or the gray pacu, I think it is. And then I have an alligator gull right there. And that's for my peacock bass. They're always hungry. I would show y'all feeding, but I don't have food right now. I have some pellets, but they don't go crazy for those. That's one of the guys I'm gonna be selling. Don't know how much yet. Probably only like $5-10 at most. Little clown knife. Dude, this clown knife is really cool. Pacu kind of messes with them a little, but he looks beat up. That was not done by my fish. That was already done to him. And I'll probably give them places to hide, but right now I don't really have that. That's Mr. Arowana. There he is from the top. Crazy. And then there's the Placo. So that's that for that tank. But as you heard, what were y'all sitting on? Y'all are sitting on my saltwater tank. It is a work in progress, for sure. I only have 2 fish in here. I have a crazy panther grouper. He has gotten way bigger than from when I got him. I had him in a 125. This is a 150, 6 foot long. Then I have a snowflake eel. I do have a snowflake eel somewhere. You can't see him, but he's right in those rocks. There's his back. He's under all those rocks. That's coral. I don't know why I put it in this tank. This isn't a coral tank at all. In fact, I'm getting a stingray for this tank. I might get a bamboo shark. I'm probably gonna get a zebra eel. And we'll see about another grouper, but unless and then again, all these fish, I've only seen them in pet stores a few times. I mean, they're gonna get a California stingray or a round stingray. Those are not 2 different species, it's the same type, but just different names. There's my star and stripe puffer, Puffy. He killed my stingray, my miniatus grouper, and made my zebra eel jump out of the tank, even with the lid. Like, he went in the sump. He went in the sump and then crawled out the sump. So he scared him into the sump, and then he kept going in the sump because this buddy kept scaring him, and then he died. But we fed him in the sump and everything, but he jumped. That's my parents were marine beta. This tank looks really dirty right now because we don't clean the substrate because you're not supposed to. You're supposed to kind of let the substrate just sit because that's where all the nutrients comes from. because under here you got the sump, and everything works under there. But yeah, this is Neptunian Cube, a brand by that aquarium place. Y'all should go check them out on Instagram at that aquarium place, or that_aquarium place. They're really good. We also go to B&B Fish and Pet, but they don't have an Instagram or anything like that. So they're I don't know what road they're on, but if you go to PetSmart on Loetta, and you just keep, I think it's on Loetta, you keep just going down Loetta, eventually you'll see like a Parrots Cove, a McDonald's, a Mexican restaurant, and 2 gas stations, and it's in a parking lot to the right. But yeah, there. Now on to upstairs. I used to have way more fish up here, but I don't know if my fish caught. No, okay, no. I literally don't know what happened, but I came up here one day, and yes, the tank is messy. Before I show you, I'm going to tell you it's really messy, but I just cleaned it, but there was so much stuff in there, I didn't have enough suction power to get all of it out, so I got to go in there again this weekend and clean it out. But for now, these are my peacocks, another baby alligator gar, and my red tail. I used to have an albino clown knifefish in here. No, it was not this overcrowded. That tank, I had a giraffe catfish, all of these peacocks besides the big guy with the messed up eye. And then, so I had peacocks in there. I had 7 peacocks in there. I had 7 or 8 peacocks in there. Then I had the alligator gar in there, but I had to move him here. And I had a shovel nose and a red tail in there, and 2 arowanas. And then over in this tank, I had a small bass. Right now, I have a decent-sized largemouth. But in there, I had a tiny largemouth bass I bought from a pet store. Yes, they have a license to sell small bass. And I don't believe I need permission to keep a largemouth in Texas because it's a game, even though it's a game fish. But if I'm wrong about that, I can just release them in a pond right outside my house that has a bunch of bass. So, and no, I'm not keeping that big of a bass in a 20-gallon. I'm going to move him to this 125. And then eventually a 310, and then eventually a pond when he gets that big. I'm not keeping him in that for long. This isn't set up yet. This 125, I'm waiting for it to cycle, because my 2 arowanas, I went to a fishing trip in Galveston, and this tank, I left it running. Like, of course I left it running, but we went on a fishing trip. I added a new catfish in there. It was a giraffe catfish. Peacock bass killed the giraffe catfish. Something happened with the heater. I forgot. I don't know if the water level got too low while I was gone, or if the pump stopped working, but for whatever reason, the tank shut off. 2 arowana, well, actually no, 1 arowana was in that tank with the largemouth. So arowana, that tank, what happened in that tank was the bass and arowana, the little bass and arowana, we cleaned all the tanks like a week or 2 ago. And whatever, I don't know if I forgot to add prime, or I don't know if the water temperature I put in was right. Maybe I had some chlorine in the water that leaked through the bucket. Don't know what happened. But the arowana in there died. Because you can't put 2 arowanas together. So the arowana in there died. And then the arowana in here died because the thing went off. The heater. So it got super cold in that tank. Peacock bass, they're strong. I've had a peacock bass covered in head to toe with ick, and it couldn't even see, and it still lived. So those peacock bass are hardy. The only way I've had a peacock bass die is one eating the other. But anyway, there in that tank, I had a giraffe catfish, 2 silver arowanas, 8 peacock bass. No, 10 peacock bass, and... No, 8. Yeah, it was 8. So 8 peacock bass, and...
a giraffe catfish. They all, no, not all of them. The peacock bass all lived. The red tail died when this tank got jacked up. I forgot what happened in this tank. Same day I left for this, I went on a fishing trip to Galveston. Yes, we're gonna clean it again. There's a lot of stuff in there. But yeah, we went on a trip to Galveston, came back, that was jacked up, and that tank was jacked up. And then the next week, that tank and that tank got jacked up. So my red tail died, my largemouth died, my shovel nose died, my clown knife died, and 2 peacocks got eaten. But I still have, so I was right. I had 12 peacock bass. 2 got killed, and then 2 more got eaten by the big guy. That's why he's separated. And then he got an eye infection that I'm trying to treat, and he's half blind in both eyes. But everything else is doing really good. That dude, bass, doing good. That tank, after we clean it again and get all the excess poop out and let it cycle for a week or 2, that'll be good. Honestly, no, we put starter in that, so that'll be good in like 2 days after we clean the tank again. Gator Gar, I'll probably put him in there along with a few peacock bass. And then, oh, never mind, no I won't. He attacked one of my peacock bass. But these peacock bass are hardy. They've been attacked by that man when they were all together. I had the most fish I've ever had in that tank was like 14. And that was when all of these fish plus all the fish that died were in that tank. So that was that was about 14, 15 fish were stuffed in that tank. And then I had 1 fish in this tank or 2 fish in this tank, and then I just decided the gar killed 2 peacocks, so I moved him to here. And then the red tail and shovel nose started fighting, but then they stopped fighting. But then the shovel nose croaked over when that tank went to crap. And yeah, a lot of death has happened over the course of the past 2 months, 3 months, because this virus is making us have different priorities. And so our first priority isn't my fish, sadly. Our first priority is not getting this virus. I'm not virus crazy. I could have helped them, but I can't drive, so I couldn't have gone to the store for food. So some of them, they wouldn't starve. The most they went without food was 3 days. I don't know, but whatever happened, this virus has made me have a stroke of fish deaths. And I don't want to curse these fish at all, but the only tank that hasn't had a death is this tank. My big tank has not had a death. Oh, there's my nose head. Big tank has not had a death in months. The last fish that were gonna go in there, I had a largemouth bass named Gary. I got him 2 years ago. And that's not the same largemouth up there. I've had 4 or 5 largemouth. I just don't have good luck with largemouth. Well, when they're babies. When they're big, I have good luck with them until they get a super bad parasite like Gary got. Gary got a parasite that made all his skin welt. His scales started coming off, his eyes fogged, and then 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, he was done. I tried to ask people, ask pet stores for medicine. They said, he'll probably get over it. He's a bass, they're hardy. He didn't get over it. Red tail started getting welts on, his belly and his, the bottom of his mouth and everything. And so I thought that was weird. And then we went to vacation in Mexico. We came back, red tail was gone. Red tail and Gary were some of my 2 biggest fish. The red tail started eating my bass, so I had to move him to the 75 before I had any of those little fish. Because this was a while ago. My red tail was a good almost 2 feet long. He was pretty big. And he was in the 75 gallon because I couldn't move him to the 125 yet. Yeah. I miss Gary and the red tail, bro. Those are the 2 fish that I wish I could get back. I would sell all my little peacocks to have their lives back. I wouldn't sell all my fish because I like how the big tank is going right now. And once I get my stingray back, because I had a stingray and I had the eel and I had the shark. They were all in my parents' tank. and one angelfish started pecking at my stingray and killed my stingray, and then Puffy started killing a few of the fish, and then after Puffy and the angelfish just started killing fish, we couldn't find them because they'd go in the rocks and they die, and then eventually it just, it didn't happen after that, because once they go in the rocks and die, the ammonia went to crap, and the ammonia levels were literally like dark blue. Like, good ammonia is like barely, like it's barely any blue or like no blue at all. This was like dark blue. Like, when I tell you, this ammonia color, the ammonia color is supposed to be like this. It was like this. Like, it would, I don't know why I just randomly just went to a picture, but it was so bad. It was off the charts. That's how bad it was. They have a ranking of like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, I think there's 5 or 6 levels. Good ammonia's here. Really bad ammonia's here. Any ammonia is enough to kill the weakest fish, but a lot. If you're off the chart, it kills any fish, and it was off the chart, but it didn't kill my panther grouper or my 2 eels. And yeah, it didn't kill my panther groupers or my 2 eels. I had a lionfish too. Oh my gosh, that dude was awesome. But everything in that tank that tank went to crap. My Minneatus grouper died. Yeah, everything. No, I don't have corona. Everything just went really bad. But this big tank, if I can keep this tank going good and keep these fish growing, I'm getting them a pond in another year. Next summer, not this summer, not the corona summer, but after 9th grade, summer going into 10th grade, I'm gonna get all these guys a pond. And also, if you all saw him swimming upside down, he does that, upside down catfish. So, all these guys are gonna be going into a 10 by 10 pond. And you still might not think that's big enough, but that's all I have room for now. If our neighborhood would be nice and let us put a pond in the front, we could clear out a good 30 feet. We could clear, because we have a somewhat of a big front yard. Our backyard is all pool and deck, as you can see. It's a rainy day and chairs were moved, but yeah, it was not exactly the best. But it's whatever though, because Puffy's always hungry. We will get more fish, and we will not let them die. Not like I let them die, but they just. Now I think I got a plan. And if that plan works, if I get everything to the pond in the next 2 to 3 years, we will have good headway ahead. I don't know. But yeah, this video is pretty much over, so peace.